Genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. People think that getting healthy is so much harder than it is, and it really isn't. Excuses. People get very defensive about these excuses that they can't see a way around. And I've seen this stop them from getting healthy and losing their weight. And that's really too bad, because that doesn't have to be your fate. But they are so incredibly stubborn with these things. I've got 3 of them. Shall we go through them? Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And in this episode, we're going to talk about what excuses, I've got 3 of them, that I have learned over my 30 plus years of being in this industry, that I have watched people fiercely protect. And I'm not talking about, like, these are not even the most popular excuses. This isn't even a fraction of the excuses that I have dealt with over the course of my career as a weight loss coach. This is just the ones that I've seen that people get really angry, very defensive, very irrational, completely they just get really crazy about these 3 excuses, these 3 things in their life that they can't see a way around. And it is a problem because there's always a way around things. There's always a way around things. And maybe this will surprise you. I picked the top 3 biggest excuses that people go to the ends of the earth to protect. And I've seen this stop them from getting healthy and losing their weight because they think that they can't, that there's just no way that they can still, get healthy using the Code Red method. I'm not talking about any other person's method. I'm talking about real food, water, and sleep. I'm talking about eating off the food list instead of doing DoorDash, and doing In-N-Out burgers and things like that. I mean, it's really, I don't understand how they could be so irrational about it, but they are. They're very, 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 very defensive about these 3 things. Welcome to this episode, Protecting Your Excuses. Shall we go through them? Yeah? Okay, let's do it. Number 1, and these are not in any type of order. Okay, I'm just saying number 1. The first excuse that I have come across people fiercely defend is, I can't lose weight because of my genetics. I can't lose weight because of my genetics. Now, we've talked about this numerous times over the past many years of podcasting and of the Code Red has been around. The Code Red lifestyle has been incorporated for 10 years now. And I've been doing Code Red like this for 9 years. And so I've talked about this countless times over the past almost decade. And genetics play a role in how your body is shaped and where you will accumulate the fat. It does play a role. And you hear bodybuilders talk about this all the time. They just got good genetics. That just means that doesn't mean that the work is going to be any easier. That doesn't mean that they're going to have to work less. It just means that this person is blessed with the genetics of a person who can have, like in bodybuilding, we want a small waist, we want nice round glutes, we want nice round shoulder caps, we want full legs, we want a flat stomach, And so some people have the genetics that lend themselves to a natural competitive bodybuilding physique, one that you would look for on stage or something like that. And so you'll hear that a lot in bodybuilding. And there's some people that are really, that they can make a ton of improvement, but their genetics prevent them maybe from going all the way to the top 0.001% of bodybuilding, just because they're just built. So how does this all play into it? Pretty much all of you guys listening to this, none of you guys are bodybuilders and none of you guys are competitors. So that part doesn't apply to you. And so for the fact that, I've seen people just come up off their seat defending themselves on this. It's my genetics. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Well, the genetics are going to determine where you pack on the fat. You're going to be shaped the way that your grandma and the way that your mom is shaped. A lot of times maybe you got your dad's genetics. I don't know. I definitely got my dad's side of the family and my grandma's shape. And all the Terhurst women on my dad's side of the family are shaped exactly the same. We have the very big butt, the full thighs, small waist, and just really big butt, big booty Judy, big thighs. And in generally, I mean, I know for me, my relatives don't have a flat stomach, but I always have a flat stomach, but I have all the junk in my trunk, And so that's where you'll find, maybe you're an apple shape and you pack all your weight between your boobs and your hip bones, right here in the core, right here in the midsection, and just like right where your belly button is, and you've got stick thin, skinny little legs, and you've got your fat is accumulated right around your midsection, right around your heart, which is the most unhealthy of all the fats. You don't want the fat to accumulate around your organs. So that's going to be, that'll be, you're fighting against your genetics, but it's definitely not impossible. That just determines where you are going to pack on the fat. And it's also going to determine where you're going to pack on the muscle. There's a girl that goes to my gym. Her name is Peyton. She's very young, very, very young. I think she's 21, 22, something like that. Her mom and dad are both competitive athletes. So if she's 20, 21, 22, then her parents, I think are like 40, 45 or something, like they were pretty young when they had her. So they're both, I think, collegiate athletes and solid muscle, both her mom and dad. Very low body fat percentage, very, very athletic, gifted athletically. They both are like state title or national title holders or collegiate champions or something. Very, very, very gifted athletically. And they all, and they're fast. They're like, I don't know what sport they played, but you can even tell, even in her parents in their mid 40s, they're in like just phenomenal shape. And then Peyton and her brother are both in phenomenal condition. Like they have incredible genetics. So you take two athletic phenoms and you put them together and they have a couple of babies and they have a male and a female athletic phenom, And so, Peyton at a very, very, very young age, the whole family is very athletic and they've been doing athletic things with the kids since the kids were really little. The mom, she's never been out of shape. She exercised through both pregnancies. And so these kids came out with incredible genetics. And then they came out with incredible drive and motivation, and they had a family history of, that's all they've ever known is exercise and eating right and treating your body with respect and no smoking, no drugs, no overuse of sugar, and no drinking. I mean, these kids are just, the whole family is incredibly healthy, and these kids have been healthy from the get-go, from gestation. And both of these kids, I mean, this girl, Peyton, I have never seen anything like it in my life. The girl has muscles where muscles aren't even supposed to be. I mean, she's so muscular, and she's 22. And you just got to go, oh my God. Now, and she's been working hard at this for all these years, but she's never not for as long as she can, as long as she's been born. Her entire life has been athletics and really healthy, nutritious food and good sleep and good hydration and good, and low stress. That's the way that her folks have raised her and her brother. And so from the get-go, they've been gifted these incredible genetics, and then they've been gifted this lifestyle that lends itself to just keeping the ball rolling. And this girl is a phenomenal body. And she works hard in the gym. And so she has her mother and her father's genetics, and then she has their ethics, their work ethics, and then the whole family has raised these kids for the last 20 plus years with this lifestyle. So she's got the perfect trifecta of this in order to be a champion. And she's gonna be one. She's on her way. Her body is more phenomenal than I've ever seen in my life. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so that's someone that really you can see that it's like, my goodness, it's just, but genetics don't play as big of a role They don't play a role in preventing you from getting healthy. You know, you don't get diabetes from your grandma. You know, the joke is, well, diabetes runs in your family. Nobody runs in your family, you know? And so that's kind of the joke. But you pass down diabetes. You can pass down unhealthy eating choices. You can pass down abusing food, sugar, and alcohol. You can pass down that lifestyle. You can pass down that expectation. You can pass down that household environment. You can pass that down. You can pass down poor relationship with food. You can pass down just the patterns and the lifestyle of eating all the time, of waking up eating. You know, if you start off if your kid has only ever known Pop-Tarts for breakfast, I mean, that child's going to be diabetic by the time they're 7. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing 50% of all kids nowadays are diabetic. And it's a phenomenal. Look it up. Fact check me on that. It's awful. You know, we have metabolic syndrome. I think one out of every 2 kids are I think adolescents, anybody under 18 has metabolic syndrome. And so this is really a serious problem. So you can pass all those unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy habits, unhealthy expectations. You can pass those down. But that's not going to prevent you from being able to get healthy. You're going to have to claw your way out of that. Definitely the deck is stacked against you. But I have watched people absolutely flip out and defend their genetics to the very core. They have just gone to the ends of the earth to say, nope, there's nothing I can do about this. Probably because some doctor told them this. Well, you got genetics fighting against you. But, and then just gave up. They gave up sitting right there on the edge of the table in the doctor's office. And they just said, okay, well, I guess I'll have to be on medications the rest of my life. I guess there's nothing I can do. I guess I'll always be fat. And that's really too bad, because that doesn't have to be your fate. But I have watched people fiercely defend that excuse. And let me tell you, genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can claw your way out of your genetic obesity. Yes, you have a body shape that you have probably inherited from your parents, one or both of your parents, and that's where you're going to probably your shape. It's your shape. It's your shape. It's your body shape. It's your body style. Whether you're an apple, whether you're a pear, whether you're an hourglass, whether you're a ruler, that is genetics. But it doesn't determine whether you can be healthy. You can still pass the 5 metabolic markers of health. You really can. And what are they? Blood pressure at or under 120/80, glucose at or under 100, A1C at or under 5.7. Really, 5.0. I don't know why I said 5.7. We wanted under 5. Waist circumference at or under 33 inches for a woman. And what is it for a man? 40 inches for a man? Yeah, under 40 inches for a man. And triglycerides at or under 150. Those are the 5 metabolic markers of health. You can pass those despite your genetics. You can still be healthy. You can still lose weight. It might be a little tougher for you. You might not be able to get 6-pack abs if you carry your weight in your tummy. Eventually, if you keep working at it, you probably can. But that's not a metabolic marker of health, 6-pack abs. That's really not what most of you guys are even going for. Would it be great? Yeah. But to get 6-pack abs is very, 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 very difficult. Despite what people think, you don't spend hours in the gym. It actually, I don't think I maybe done ab exercises 5 times in my whole life. You know, it's all done with your food. It's all done in the kitchen, really. But you can still get healthy. You can still pass your metabolic markers, and you can still lead a healthy lifestyle, and you can still be at a healthy weight despite your genetics. But I have watched people freak out when it comes to their genetics and fiercely defend them. The second thing that I have watched people fiercely defend, and as a reason that they cannot get healthy, is this one might surprise you. This one might surprise you. They are a caregiver for somebody. Yes, they're a caregiver. And, I'm Gen X. Gen X is the generation born between 1965 and 1980. I was born in 1976. I'm 48 years old. And what we're seeing now, my parents are in their 70s. So you're watching the Gen Xers who are now having high schoolers or kids that are at home, and they're also taking care of an elderly parent. You're kind of right in that middle thing, you know, or they, you know, nowadays we're coming out of a terrible administration that they'll just crashed our economy for 4 years. And thank the good Lord, we're on our way, clawing our way out of that and into the golden era. And before, kids couldn't even dream about buying a house. The economy was so bad. Inflation was so high. Now there's hope. There's hope for our future generations to be able to buy their own house. And they were moving back in with their parents. So we had Gen Xers that had kids coming back home, living with them, and then they're taking care of an elderly parent. And so these people that are caregivers, I've been a caregiver, I know, and I started off my nursing career in home health. And so I understand, I've been a caregiver. I understand what it takes to do that. It is incredibly stressful. It sucks the very life out of you. It's morning, noon, and night. I mean, it just will eat your lunch. You really, really, whether you're caregiving for an elderly parent or you have a special needs child, that is rough. And we've just watched it destroy people. We really have. But it's not impossible. However, I have seen people in my career just dig their heels in and say, I cannot do it. Basically what they're saying is I can't get healthy. I cannot get healthy. Because that's what I'm saying. You can't get healthy? No, I can't get healthy. What they're trying to say is I don't have the bandwidth to think about anything else. That's what they're trying to say. I have no room in my brain to try to think of a healthy choice right now. It's just easier for me because I'm stretched so thin and I'm so maxed out and I'm so saturated. It's just easier for me to click an app, to open Uber Eats, or to open DoorDash, or to do the drive-through and just order the number 2 Diet Coke, extra large, pay for it, and eat mindlessly on your way home. That's what that is what they're really saying. They don't have bandwidth for it. That's what they're really saying. They will dig their heels in and they just will not, like, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. But when you say you can't, eat off the food list, I mean, it's meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat. But people overcomplicate getting healthy. I won't even say weight loss. The weight's going to come off when you start to get healthy. When you heal your body, the weight, which is a symptom of a bigger problem, will come off. Just like your A1C just comes down, just like your blood pressure comes down, just like all the things happen. Everything happens. The weight comes off. It just comes off when you get healthy. So people think that getting healthy is so much harder than it is. And it really isn't. It's just drinking water instead of Diet Coke. And I think also people think, especially when they're caregivers and they are maxed out and they have no bandwidth and they're stretched as thin as they possibly can be stretched, they can't seem to put meals together in their head, or they think they have to put meals together, and they don't have to. You can mix up ground beef in a bowl and put some salsa on it and some taco seasoning, and put, you don't have to actually put meals together. You don't need to make recipes. You can do single ingredient. In fact, that's all I eat is single ingredient foods only. I don't do recipes. I don't bake. I don't cook. I do cook my own food here, but I don't cook something as like put it in the oven and like, make a casserole or things like that and actually make something. And I don't do some sort of a well-rounded meal. My meals all have my meals all have the nutrients that I need, and they all fit my macros and my calories that I'm looking for, but they're not fancy. And I think that people think, especially caregivers, that they have to put these meals together like what they see on Instagram or what they see on Pinterest, and it's simply not true. You don't have to. You can just get a meat and a veggie and put a pat of butter on it. They have steam in the bag, steamers. It's so easy to get food and make it. Is it as easy as the drive-through? I think so, because I don't like going out into traffic. I mean, I work from home, so I've gotten kind of to be a bit of a snob when it comes to traffic. And so getting your car and driving to a fast food place and sitting in the drive-through and then paying all that money, I I think it's expensive. I think it's a pain. I think it's time consuming. It's not a good use of my time to leave my house and to have to come back and or to go down to the C-store and get something out of the snack, getting out, locking my car, walking in, getting something. I guess that you can have it DoorDash to your house. I've never used DoorDash. I've never used Uber Eats. I've never used them before. I don't even know how to use them. But you're also talking to a girl who's never used GPT either. So maybe I'm a little bit behind the times. But I know that they do deliver it to your door. Now, I live at the top of the Grove Hotel. It's a secure building. You can't get in here even if you wanted to. So I would still have to go all the way downstairs and get it. It's just not convenient to go. I don't think it's convenient to do it. I guess the Domino's pizza people will actually bring the pizza into your house and set it on your coffee table in front of you. But you don't have to be fancy, and it's not hard or complicated. You do have to use your brain a little bit, but you're eating anyway. You're using your brain a little bit to figure out what you want from In-N-Out Burger. You're already using your brain to try to choose whether you want a number 2 or number 4 from McDonald's. You're already using your brain a little bit. So you're already going to the store and buying stuff. Might as well buy stuff off the food list. So that's something I've seen people really, really, really really stand their ground on. I cannot get healthy because I'm a caregiver and I don't have the bandwidth for it. And it's really too bad because that's when you need to be the healthiest. Somebody else's life is depending on you. That's an incredible amount of stress. I feel for you. My heart goes out to you because you really need some help. You need someone, you need a sibling, you need somebody else to come step in, you need to hire a home health nurse, something. Maybe you can send your autistic child to a daycare. Maybe there's a service that Medicaid pays for. I don't know. But it would be good to get some sort of relief. I mean, that's just on a side note. But yes, now is the time you need to be healthy because who else is going to take care of this person if you're not around to do it? And you are going to feel like absolute garbage if you keep going down this path. You probably are already in pain, your back, your knees, your hands. You probably already don't have clothes to fit into. You probably already have brain fog and headaches because of the food choices that you're making, because you're not getting enough water, so you're dehydrated. Nobody feels good on copious amounts of Diet Coke. It's just the reality. And this needs to be an excuse that you get past, but man, it is hard to get past people on this one. And the third one is similar. The one that I've heard people defend and protect at all costs. I can't get healthy because I have kids. And it should be the way they should say it is, I have to get healthy because I have kids. But again, very similar to the caregiver situation. They don't have the band. What they're trying to say is I just can't. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the bandwidth in my brain or the brain space. I'm overwhelmed and I can't think my way through this. And people with children are just strung so thin because they allow their children to be in everything nowadays. I mean, I cannot believe I live at the top of the Grove Hotel and we have a hockey rink right underneath here. I can hear hockey games. I'm up on the top floor and I can still hear hockey games and stuff. I have a big box fan from Walmart and it drowns out the hockey games, but I can hear them. And they have kids hockey. Kids hockey? Oh my gosh, some of you parents know that is one expensive sport. And you guys, you're flying all over the country. You're buying new sticks. You're buying all this equipment for these kids, these 7-year-olds, these 10-year-olds to play hockey, softball. Like you guys are going all the time, constantly for your kids. You are spread so thin because your kids in ballet and hockey and soccer and softball and painting class and acting class and all these different things. And then they're in school. And then they're doing gymnastics and dance. Oh my gosh, you dance moms are nuts. You dance people, my gosh, they really get into this dance thing. And this cheerleading, the cheerleading thing where they do these routines and they throw these your kid's standing on that guy's hands, and she flips and then, oh Lord, and like they're really into it. Gymnastics, oh my gosh. Like you're really into it. And so you're allowing your children to do a million activities. You're spread so thin. Meanwhile, moms, you're not taking care of yourself. And you've gotten fat and sick, and your metabolic health is in the toilet. And you got to really, it's not something I talk a lot about because I haven't birthed children from my birth canal. I do have children, but I was an egg donor. So I have 8 kids out there. I've met 2 of them. I haven't met the other 6. And I haven't actually pushed one out of my birthing canal. I did raise one. I did raise my niece and put her through college and get her a car and get her, I took care of that. So in a lot of ways, I did some parenting things, but you got to really be careful talking to other parents about this when you don't have kids. Because even when you do have kids, man, parents get really, 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 really defensive about this. And it's just funny to me because they're just putting all this effort into these children. Meanwhile, they're getting sicker and fatter. Their A1C is going through the roof. They need more and more and more medications. They're in pain. They, used to just be the left finger. Now it's both hands. And now now their back hurts all the time and their knees hurt. And they got to have a knee replacement because they're carrying around too much weight on that left knee. And that left knee buckled when you got out of the car at church the other day. Now you got to have a knee replacement. Like it's or you're getting cortisone shots. It's gotten ridiculous because you guys refuse to take care of yourselves. You refuse to eat meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat. You refuse to drink your water, and you refuse to lay down the law in your house and make everybody go to bed on time. So you got kids up too late. You got them out running around. Your 15-year-old's out till 1 o'clock in the morning, which should not be happening, moms. You haven't laid down the law in your house, and you are suffering because of it. Try to talk to a parent about this. They get defensive real quick. But if you get sick enough, when the mom gets in pain enough and she hasn't had intimacy with her husband, the dad, for 6 months, they always come back to Code Red because they know that real food, water, and sleep works. They know that 10% of their body weight off a month without shakes, pills, diet foods, or exercise or shots, it works. They know that they can get rid of the brain fog and feel better and have tons of energy on Code Red. They know it works. It worked before. It'll work again. And so they come back. But Katie bar the door. They put up a fight when it comes to having kids. That they will fiercely defend that excuse. And they're seeing it the wrong way. They're putting their kids first and they're putting themselves last. So putting themselves first, if you put yourself first, that doesn't mean that other people come last. That just means that you're making sure that you are eating healthy and that you're drinking your water and that you're getting your sleep. And you allow your family to be run in a way that is not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. Now, everybody's going to miss sleep once in a while for a late flight. But that is the norm in a lot of your lives because you do not lay down the law, moms. And you're suffering now because of it. Your 10-year-old's not suffering. Your 13-year-old's not suffering. They got everything they want. They're 13. They can sleep on a bed on the ground and wake up feeling fantastic. You or I try to sleep on the floor? Oh my God, sleep on the couch? No, I'm not crashing on somebody. I'm not even sitting in the middle seat on an airplane, guys. I had somebody buy me a plane ticket to go. I'm helping out a friend over across the country at the end of here just in a couple of weeks and bought me a plane ticket. And it was like the middle seat. And I was like, you've got to be kidding if I'm traveling 7 hours and I'm sitting in the middle seat. Those days are over. I don't sit in the middle seats. I'm 48. I'm going to be 49 in 2025. I don't sit in middle seats anymore. No. My back is terrible. I need to be able to get up and pee every 30 minutes. No, we're not playing that game anymore. So listen, moms, your kids aren't suffering. They're happy as a clam. You're the one that's suffering. They're not going to suffer if you lay down some laws. But it is a trick. It's a tricky, sticky situation to try to talk to a parent about the boundaries and the way that they're running their life to make sure that it lines up with a healthy lifestyle for you. And what kind of example are you setting for your kids when you are letting your health suffer and get worse all the time and your relationship with your husband get worse because you're putting yourself last? Remember, putting yourself first does not mean you're putting others last. That's wrong. You've got to take care of yourself. And it's going to get harder as you get older, let me tell you. And if you keep losing and gaining the weight over and over, you could do some permanent damage to your hormones. We're seeing that now more than ever. So That is one that really is a sticky one that I kind of stay away from. If I can, or I get one of my coaches with kids, like Coach Carrie, Coach Lisa, I get Coach Nancy. I get another coach, Coach Maya, to talk about Coach Melanie. Me and Lori and Andrea, we stay away from that, because we want to stick. If you're gonna have a conversation like that with another parent, it really needs to be another parent, because they're gonna listen to that parent. They're gonna tune me out a little bit to a certain point. And if you hear from another parent saying, "Listen, I get it, but little Johnny needs to sleep in his big boy bed, and this needs to stop," and they're going to listen to another parent a little easier. That's one that I've seen people defend fiercely. So it's kind of an interesting podcast. The top 3 biggest excuses that I've seen in my career that I've watched people fiercely defend they go to the ends of the earth to dig their heels in, and they are so incredibly stubborn with these 3 things: genetics, being a caregiver, and having kids. And those are the biggest excuses that I've seen people let get in the way of becoming healthy, becoming healthy, because again, the weight falls off when you get healthy. So it's really just taking a healthy path. They don't think they can when they are up against these 3 things. And they're very hard-headed, and it's really hard to get people to think past this. They just can't think around it. They have a block up, when it comes to these 3 things and really comment below. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on the Code Red Network, comment below and tell me which ones I missed that you've seen people in your life, or, your friends, your family, say to you, or heard them say about getting healthy. Do you notice? Did I miss any? Should I have picked a different one? I would love to hear your comments below. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, and I'll see you on the next one.